Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Flamingo Up, the podcast where we help women rise, reclaim their voice, and take charge of their life and career. I'm Ali, founder of Empower Heard, where we support women in overcoming workplace challenges through coaching and community. Each week, we dive into real issues with expert advice and inspiring stories to help you shift from victim to victor. Today, we're talking about breaking the silence when you feel alone. This is my story, and I cannot wait to dive in. So let's flamingo up, gorgeous. Let's start at the beginning. Before I even realized it, I had become a victim of female to female covert workplace bullying. For 6 years, a colleague, let's just call her Louise, beat down my self-worth, self-belief, and self-love to the point where I tried to take my own life. Louise wasn't just a colleague. She was someone I had once considered a friend. I do remember the first time I met her back in 2010. She was cold and unfriendly, but I, being hopeful, thought I could reset things when I was asked to train her. That, now I see, was my first mistake, opening up my world to a bully. We worked together for years, and at one point it felt like we'd built a friendship. Then one day, she stopped speaking to me altogether. I still remember that exact moment like it was yesterday. That silence grew louder and more destructive over time. It was this friend who would drive me to the brink of despair, to the point where I tried to take my own life. If you've ever experienced something like this, feeling confused, betrayed, and deeply hurt by someone you thought was a friend, I want you to know you are not alone. The first time I tried to end it all was after one particularly bad day at work. My once happy workplace had turned into a pit of hatred and jealousy, all stemming from Louise. I was desperate, and I remember calling my mum for advice. She said all the right things, gave me the guidance I needed, but I was so consumed by my rage and pain, I couldn't listen. Instead, I lashed out at her. That night, I was alone, physically and emotionally. I trusted no one. The bullying was so subtle, so discreet, that it destroyed me from the inside out. I kept questioning myself. How can I make this stop? What did I do wrong? Why is this happening to me? It was unbearable. That night, I sat on my veranda, staring up at the stars. The tears wouldn't stop. My thoughts became so aggressive. My body was exhausted. My mind was exhausted, and I just wanted it all to end. I walked into my kitchen and pulled out painkillers and downed them with my Bacardi and lemonade. I was ready to stop the pain once and for all. I may be alone, but finally, I thought, at peace. Now, when I woke up in the morning, I was ashamed. I felt disgusted with myself. I couldn't even take my own life. It just reinforced this awful belief I had that I was useless. I went back to work that day, defeated, and the bullying continued. Louise would backstab me, sabotage my work, have secret meetings with my manager, and spread false accusations about me. She even had a secret hate list, and apparently I was number one on it. I isolated myself more and more, feeling powerless. I tried to take my own life a few more times. Each failure just deepened my despair. If you've ever felt completely trapped and defeated, please know that you are not alone and there is a way forward. After 6 long years of torment, I finally realized what was happening. I had been bullied covertly by someone I thought was a friend. Up until then, I had no idea what covert bullying was. Growing up, we were only ever taught about the physical bullying, the sticks and stones kind. But this was different. It was emotional, psychological, and deeply damaging. If you've never been taught about covert bullying and what it looks like, take a moment to reflect. Covert bullying is subtle, often invisible, but it's just as destructive. And if this is something you've faced, you are not alone. By 2022, I was again at breaking point. This time, I recognized the signs. I knew I needed help. My confidence had deteriorated, and once again, in a toxic situation. Louise had been undermining my work, and when she was promoted, I was physically ill. That night, I saw a post by a woman I had been following, Christy Ann Moore. The post read, "Courage is the ability to do something that frightens you." That post gave me the courage to reach out for help. The conversation with Christy Ann was a turning point. For the first time, I could say the words out loud. I am a victim of female-to-female workplace bullying. And it was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I wasn't alone anymore. I started taking back my power. Slowly but surely, I began to rebuild my self-love and confidence. I started journaling, writing affirmations. I am smart. I am strong. I am a victor. The bullying continued, but I no longer let it define me. I took my lunch breaks as mental health breaks, walking for 45 minutes to clear my mind. Each day I asked myself questions like, who am I? What is my value? And little by little, I rediscovered the fearless, playful, and intelligent woman I had once been before. If you are someone who's on a journey to rediscover yourself, I want you to know you are not alone. Eventually, I made the decision to walk away. My number one fan, my mum, was losing her battle with cancer. The last thing she said to me was, just be happy. Those words stayed with me. I wasn't happy in that toxic workplace environment. So I resigned. And when I did, I felt free. Leaving that job allowed me to reconnect with myself, my family, and my friends in a way I had never experienced before. I was no longer weighed down by the fight. My relationships deepened and I felt lighter. Millions of women around the world are victims of female-to-female workplace bullying, and sadly, many of them feel just as alone as I did. If that's you, I want to remind you, you are not alone. Today, I stand before you as a victor, not a victim. My journey of healing is ongoing. I am rediscovering who I truly am outside of all the titles and the roles. It's been an incredible journey of self-love and self-discovery, and I want to share that with you. If you're on a similar path and want guidance, I'd love for you to check out the free resources I've created, including an ebook on healing from workplace bullying. You can find it on our Be Heard Facebook community, or reach out to me directly if you prefer an email copy. My dream is for a world free of workplace bullying, where victims know they are not alone. Together, we can raise our voices so loud that they drown out the bullies. If you know someone who would benefit from hearing this episode, please share it with them. By sharing our stories, we can create a ripple effect of change. Now, as we wrap up today, I want to give you a sneak peek into what's coming up next on Flamingo Up. On our next episode, we're diving into a topic that's all too common, but often hard to navigate: workplace friendships that become confusing and even toxic. And we're calling it the Frenemy Zone, when workplace friendships become confusing. This episode will explore how to recognize when a workplace friendship starts to feel unhealthy. Sometimes the signs are subtle, like a backhanded comment that makes you question yourself, or the way a colleague might quietly undermine you. Other times, these dynamics become more direct, but you're unsure if it's just a challenging relationship or something more damaging. We'll break down the red flags that can signal a toxic shift in a workplace friendship. We'll talk about why these dynamics often happen, how to protect your well-being, and most importantly, steps you can take to maintain your peace and mental health. This episode is for anyone who has ever felt confused or hurt by a friend at work. So be sure to tune in. You won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for joining me today on Flamingo Up. Remember, you have the power to rise, reclaim your voice, and thrive in your life and career. Flamingo Up is about standing tall, owning your space, and facing your challenges with grace and strength, just like a flamingo. If today's episode resonated with you and you're ready for more support, I'd love to invite you to the Be Heard Facebook community. It's a space where we come together and I offer coaching. So thank you all so much for listening to my story. If any of this, again, has resonated with you, you can find a link to request an invite to the Be Heard Facebook community in the show notes. For now, keep flamingoing, and I will see you next episode. Have a great day.